Greetings to all my 907 subscribers and of course my future subscribers. Tonight we are talking about Lagavulin 8-year-old. Now I do have a love-hate relationship with smoky whiskies, peated whiskies. Some of them are fantastic, some not so fantastic. I had some stinkers in my life, especially Artbeck 5-year-old. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it. And I suppose it's got all to do with what you are in the mood for that specific day. And of course, more time in a glass sometimes make a big difference, especially some of the neck pours can be very harsh. So on tonight, we are looking at the Lagavulin 8-year-old. And there's something that I saw on my online store that they have some samples available. I did not want to commit to a full bottle. It's about 73 euros here at my online store here in Belgium. But I did find it some place in the UK. It was quite cheaper. You can pay about 57 euros for the same bottle. But of course, this is Belgium, high taxes, high import duties, so I expect to pay a little bit more. So I decided to give it a go. I bought a small sample of it, 50 milliliters. Not that cheap. I've paid about €7.50 for this sample. So not something that is cheap, even the sample wise, but at least if I don't like it, I can then just throw the rest away. And of course I didn't waste 73 euros on it. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of a nosing and a tasting. Not going to give you a lot of background information on it. A lot of videos I've already made this video, and I don't really care about the history of the distillery, which apparently quite an old distillery, or one of the oldest distilleries in Islay. It is bottled at 48% ABV. Of course, it is a single malt. It comes from the Islay region of Scotland. Also non-chill filtered, I presume, at 48% ABV. And when I did find also that there could be some color added. Not 100% sure on that one, as I don't have the full bottle to read what's on the box and read what's on the bottle. And of course, I don't want to go spend too much time researching. I don't want to reflect somebody else's nosing and tasting notes. But what I did see, there could be some color added. Although, if you look at the color, it's 8 years old, by the way. 8 years old, very light in color. So I would be surprised if I did add color, maybe just to make sure that all the bottles look the same. But apparently there is a little bit of color in it. So very light straw color. So there is a little bit of a cask influence. 8 years old, you'd expect to find maybe a little bit more color. Considering that they added a little bit of a caramel to it, that suggests to me that the cask might be second filled, hence the lack of color, and for them to add a little bit of color. Of course, not 100% sure, but that is my opinion anyway. Maybe they can reach out to me when they see my video, reach out to me to give me some more information, or maybe some more samples. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. So, color-wise, light color, light straw color on the nose. Now, on the nose for me, this is quite a strange one. Now, I've liked the Lagavulin 16, but it also for me needed time. That first pour, well, maybe the first 5 pours was not so good. I did leave the bottle for quite a couple of months, went back, and for me, it completely changed over that time. And it changed into something that I really like. So I presume that this will be the case as well. So first thing that I pick on the nose. There's a iodine, a little bit of a TCP hospital disinfective note to it. A little bit of a rubber note as well. Like when you let the air out of an old tire, that little hint of that note coming out. So not really pleasant. Consider it's quite a fresh pour. I did like the nose actually on the 16-year-old a little bit better than this one. I was expecting to get a little bit more of the alcohol. It is 48% ABV, so I expected more of an alcohol bite or sting on the nose. I don't get that, even with a little bit of an agitation. I only pick up the youthfulness of it. So it's definitely that there's that youthful element of the alcohol, but still it doesn't kick you in the nose and telling you that it is a 48% ABV. Now, the smoke, I would expect, well, I was expecting a little bit more smoke. I definitely get the smoke. I expect if you are a person that don't like smoky whiskey, or you've never tried smoky whiskey, this is going to be quite overpowering for you. But I do get that peatiness, that more for me like a hospital, maybe a hospital that's burning down. So you get that bonfire hospital TCP, a little bit of a mixture that I do pick up on this one. For me, it's a little bit of a confused citrus note. So you get that citrus note, and then all of a sudden you get that knocking on the door of the TCP, you get that hospital. So a very confused nosing notes coming out. And I must admit, I'm also a little bit confused. Do I like it or don't I like it? And with a little bit of time, now I just poured this glass now, but it opens up quite fast. So I get that smoke, but also that TCP note now seems to be disappearing, coming a little bit lower. There's a little bit of that citrus note coming out. I also get a hint of something like a canned pineapple. So it's not overly sweet, but that hint of that artificially type of the liquid that's in the tint of pineapple. A little bit that lemons is now like a little bit of a lemon preserve. So it tends to go a little bit sweeter now with a little bit of time. And of course, maybe I acclimatize to that smoke, so I don't get that big smoke hit at this moment. A little bit of a banana note, like a ripe banana bread that I get. This is a strange one. I've never picked up in a Islay whiskey. But now definitely the sweetness just keeps on building up for me. Less of that TCP note coming out. And it reminds me a little bit of a salted licorice some years ago. Not the actual licorice itself, but the experience that I had with that salted licorice. And I love licorice, and I bought it. Hopefully it's going to be happy. And once I started eating it, was disgusting. Now that same feeling that I get with this note that I picked up, that saltiness and maybe a little bit of a licorice type of note. So hopefully that does not translate the same in the taste as well. But definitely, this one, if you pour it, maybe even if you are somebody that has a smoky whiskey every now and again, give this one a little bit of time in the glass. When you pour it for your friends, pour it, tell them, wait a little bit, because if you give it to them straight out of the bottle, they're not going to be happy. Now this one, definitely a huge difference from pour to now. Already, I'm starting to like it. Not sure if I always am willing to wait for this something to change before I want to drink it, but definitely this one, give it some time. So on the taste, cheers. It's quite sweet. I was a little bit surprised with that. I did not think it's going to be sweet like this when I started to nose it. But definitely now, oh, it's quite a lovely sweetness. A little bit of that lemon preserve coming through. The alcohol, let me just want to make sure. I don't want to say something that I'm not sure. Alcohol is, for me, it's just perfect. I was thinking I might be able, or I should, put a little bit of water in it at 48% ABV, but I think this is just perfect for me. A little bit of a bitterness coming out, a little bit of a burnt caramel taste coming out for me. Just a hint of that, and I think it's quite balances the sweetness of it. Just make sure. Actually, it's quite nice. So that oak definitely on this third sip, a little bit of an oaky build up. There's a little bit of a sour note also appearing. That heat of the alcohol definitely showed up on the second sip. While the second sip was a little bit bigger, and I think that can also contribute to that little bit of an alcohol bite. But definitely it's telling me it's 48% ABV. And I can also feel my whole mouth on the inside warming up. Here in the throat is warming up. The body is warming up. So definitely 48% ABV. And of course, if you want to add a little bit of water, drop of 2, just to see what a drop of 2, just to see what it does to your whiskey. But remember, not too much. And just the last sip, just to make sure. Yeah, absolutely for me, a little bit of a love-hate relationship. I was not sure in the beginning. And the same that I had with the Lagavulin 16. I will put a link up over here if you want to see my review on the Lagavulin 16. And just to do a comparison between the two. Definitely love-hate. Love the taste of it. Not so sure of the aromas in the beginning. The nosing was a little bit off for me, a little bit off-putting for me. And of course, with a little bit of time, it changed again. A little bit of a Jekyll and Hyde situation. And in the end, the nose changed significantly for me, just to say, yeah, that's not a bad one. And of course, when I started doing the tasting as well, for me, much better on the taste than the nose. And normally it's the other way around. The nose promises you everything, and when the taste comes, it's a little bit of a no-show. For this one, I do like it. I'm not sure if I'm willing to pay €70 or €73 here in Belgium for a full bottle. I think there's a lot more whiskey out there that's really nice. Lagavulin 12-year-old, for me, that's something that stands out. A legit 10-year-old, I think that is so much better than this one. So let me know what you think about this one. Is there something that you would pick above the legit 10, maybe the Lagavulin 12? Which one would you prefer? Is this something that you would give to your friends as a birthday gift, as a Christmas present? And of course, do you love them or hate them? Do you... I think sometimes you give gifts for people that you don't like so much. You give them something that you don't like. What do you think about this one? Have you tried it? Is it something that you recommend for your friends? Remember to like and subscribe, and I see you next time. Cheers.